Welcome to Ask Ms. ERP. The topic of this video is why is ERP support important? Hello everyone, Ms. ERP here. Most of the topics that I have covered so far pertain to ERP or other enterprise application, implementations, or upgrades. I will now turn to providing some advice on how best to support your large, complicated systems. You may call this sustainment or maintenance, but I see it as supporting your system for the long term, so that is the term that I will use. Remember that your ERP system is really the backbone of your company, and if it is not meeting the user's needs, the impact will be far-reaching. It has continually amazed me over my career that a lot of resources, meaning people and money, are provided for large, complicated ERP projects without enough consideration as to how to look after the application for the long term. This may be due to the fact that one-time capital funds are usually assigned to projects, while the ongoing care and feeding of an application is typically considered an expense. Regardless, I would advise you that if you spent a lot of time and money implementing something, then it is worth the investment to continue to look after the product so that the true value of the investment can be realized. Think of it like buying a vehicle. After the initial purchase, you must maintain your vehicle to get the most out of it. If you are upgrading your current system, you likely already have a good idea of what is needed for support, so this is probably not an issue for you. But if you are implementing a new enterprise system, you should be aware that the requirements to support the application will definitely be more than you expect. If it is a relatively new application, then the skills that you need might be scarce, which you should consider early on, because having your support people involved with the implementation project is the best way for them to learn the system to be able to support it effectively. I covered this a bit more in video number 14, how to build an ERP project team, if you are interested. Typical ERP projects usually have a hypercare support period for a few weeks after go live, when the project resources are still all available to respond to issues. But what happens when they move on? Perhaps they were a third-party system integrator, and those folks are off to their new project. Go live is just the beginning of your journey, and it can take 6 months to a year to truly stabilize an enterprise application post-go live. What usually happens is a few employees are left holding the fort for this large, complicated application and can quickly become overwhelmed. There are clear indicators if you don't have enough resources to support your ERP. The most obvious is that user issues are not being addressed in a timely fashion. If your end users are not getting a useful response to a problem, or worse yet, not getting any response at all, this leads to other issues, such as low user adoption due to a lack of trust in the system. As I'm sure you know, it is much harder to regain trust after it is lost, so I highly recommend that you are prepared to avoid this situation. Another common problem with ERP support is that there are undefined roles and responsibilities for which team or person is doing what, which will likely lead to duplication of effort or confusion on who can solve an issue. Particularly with the move to the cloud, roles and responsibilities are changing, which may impact what you need after your new application goes live. What usually happens with unclear roles and responsibilities is that everyone helps whoever is screaming the loudest, which may or may not be the best way to prioritize issues. Certainly, it leads to frustration and stress for everyone involved. An ERP or other enterprise system is almost always impacted by any technology or business projects underway, so it is not just the day-to-day issues that need to be dealt with. If you do not have enough support resources, the focus will be on the immediately pressing issues, and there will be limited cycles to perform proactive actions, such as developing processes to be agile to respond to demand, or to provide estimates for future plans. A big part of using a shared enterprise system is to promote process standardization. It will fall to the support team to review, refine, improve, and communicate standards to ensure that optimal processes are in place for the long term. Without time to work on this, processes will be disparate and inconsistent, which in turn will lead to more support issues. Another thing that there won't be time for if you don't have enough support resources is to be able to put the appropriate focus on enabling end users. Even just simply documenting, sharing, or communicating basic information becomes a challenge. Never mind any training or enablement tools that should have some attention. One way to help end users is to build and maintain a super user or change agent network. While these super users can help take the load off the support team, they too need to be supported and equipped for success. Lastly, if you do not have enough support resources, you will be unable to increase the value that you can realize from what is probably a very large technology investment. ERP vendors are continually adding new features and functionality, and without enough time to assess and implement these new offerings, you will not be leveraging your investment to its full potential. With cloud ERPs, these enhancements come at a rapid pace, and it is very easy to fall behind in awareness in what is happening in your software, which might either benefit your company or impact you adversely. There are also usually mechanisms in which to do research and influence your product vendor for future enhancements that would help your company realize more value. I would encourage participation in user groups as a way to influence the product vendor, along with providing an opportunity to learn from other customers. All of this usually falls to the support team, and if they are stretched too thin, then only the critical issues will be dealt with, and possibly not even those. I hope this topic will help you explain to your company why looking after your ERP or other enterprise application should be prioritized and sufficiently staffed. In the next video, I will provide some suggestions on how best to support your ERP. This concludes the Why is ERP Support Important topic. There is a link on askmizerp.com to email me to ask questions or suggest topics for future videos, or you can just add comments on any YouTube video. Please subscribe to my channel. Thanks, and see you on the next video.